were all your studios Pro Tools back in the late '90s? Then that early, when Pro Tools was super expensive, or were you just doing analog type stuff?
No, we had lots of digital. I mean, there were a lot of things that
okay.
came out before Pro Tools. There were we used to use a thing called the Radar, which was a 24-track hard drive, basically.
Okay.
But Pro Tools made it so easy to edit and do all these cool things.
Right.
But we made a decision not to buy 6 Pro Tools rigs because Pro Tools was changing their stripes about every 2 years.
Yep. To
the tune of about $30,000 per unit.
Exactly.
And I just didn't want to get in that race.
Right.
I didn't want to. I just didn't want to enter that race every year and a half. Oh, here comes Pro Tools 3. Here comes Pro Tools 4.
Right.
Pro Tools no more. We're out of this business. So we sold it and never looked back.
And by the way, if I was recording into my studio right now, I'd be using Digi 001. That's what I'm living in because all I need it for is voice work.
Oh, that's great.
Honestly, and it still works great. And I've left Panther on my whatever it is. It's a tower. It's a Mac tower that's probably 13 years old, and that is the only thing I do on that. That's it. Is I just record whatever voiceover stuff that I'm doing, and it still sounds great. And
otherwise, the crossfade device is the best thing ever invented.
Oh man, no kidding. No kidding. And I remember when I really wanted to have some. I wanted to use some scratches and. There was some Echo plug-in thing too, but they were like $800 each, and I went,
"Oh, I know."
Just for, I mean, plugins were so crazy back in the day. I'm sure you probably had all of them. But.
And this is where I ran into the problems I was talking about earlier, Frank. Is when I upgraded my Pro Tools rig, a lot of or most of my plugins weren't compatible.
Oh right, yeah, that kind of junk. Yeah,
and it was crashing my system. It was going, we don't like Pro Tools 10.
Right.
We were built for Pro Tools 6. You know what I'm saying? And it was a disaster.
Right. Hey, have you seen the Sound City documentary?
No.
Got to see it. It's great.
That's what I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, besides, I will say that
that's one of my goals because a lot of my friends have told me about that. And reading Jeff Emmerich's book on the Beatles is another.
Oh, really?
Bucket list thing.
Yeah.
Near future bucket list.
Yeah, it's just interesting to listen to Dave Grohl talk about. He wants kind of what we were talking about with your daughter and my kids about. Texting and everything is just again recording your vocals on your laptop at home and all this kind of stuff. He wants people to get together and record music. And in his mind, if you do it on this analog machine, then even better, right? But it's an interesting doc, and I would think it'd be great for you coming from the inside, So
Dino said something I thought was pretty clever once. He said, in the old days, they used to document a performance in the studio. Nowadays, you sort of have to create a performance with a mouse in your hand.
Right.
Right. I don't know if Roundabout would have sounded quite the same with a Pro Tools rig. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but have you seen? And again, I know the ins and outs of music, but they'll A/B stuff on they'll show pictures of like Roundabout, and they'll show where the quiet parts are because I'm really into an article that I probably read 5 or 6 years ago now about your ears get tired of listening because every sound is like a brick. Even the smallest sounds. So if you put Roundabout from a digital copy of Roundabout, or if you play the LP, the record of Roundabout and record it digitally and show the wave pattern, you'll see that there's almost you can't say they're two entirely different songs, but
well,
crazy the amount of compression that you guys lived in. I mean, you just compressed everything up to the yin yang, and it's like. Okay, but I'll tell you what, when I'm biking an hour and a half, after a while, I take my earbuds out just because, and I don't even know why. I love music, but I wonder if my ears actually get tired because of every sound is the exact same volume.
You're exactly right, I think.